this again. All right, welcome to our September business meeting. We'll get started a little late. We do have a lot of information to impart this evening. First thing we want to do is do the Pledge of Allegiance. And again, keep it all on mute so we're not cross-talking, but I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks everybody for participating. We do have 2 speakers tonight, and I promised, because I know how busy she is, I promised Stephanie I would get her out because they got ballots to stuff and mail to prepare and everything else. First off, real quick, is there any first-time visitors to the meeting? I want to give you a shout out. I think there's a couple of them I saw, and if you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself quickly and say hello.
Hi, Craig Snyder.
Hey, Craig, welcome, welcome. Anybody else? Rashawn? Yeah.
Hey, I'm Roshan Morbia. I've
Hi.
been around, but not on the business meeting.
Okay, very good. Well, welcome to the business meeting. You're on the agenda. Anybody else?
I'm Marilyn Schluter. I've been to the meetings when they weren't online, but this is my first online meeting.
Well, welcome back to our brave new world.
Thank
All right.
you.
And so with that, we wanted to bring in our resident expert on all the changes in voting. Our Norfolk Register, again, she's taking out a lot of time from a very, very busy schedule to kind of update us. So Stephanie, and I do have Michael's PowerPoint if you want me to bring up some information sheets. If not, I'm just going to turn it over to you and you tell us how we are going to vote in Norfolk.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. So this election will be our 4th election during this lovely COVID pandemic. We had the March, of course, Democratic presidential primary, followed by the May local election and the June Republican primary. But of course, this is the big one that everybody likes to come out for every 4 years. And it's a very heightened election and a lot of thought and participation going into this. We are in the process right now. I'm working with my staff. We're packing over 20,000 ballots to get mailed out in our first mailer, which looking at our previous history 4 years ago was more like 1,600 ballots in our first mail out. So that can just tell you, it speaks volumes to what the participation is going to be. We'll begin voting on Friday, the 18th. So that will be by mail and in person. Originally, absentee voting will be conducted at the Norfolk City Hall on the 1st floor in the space formerly occupied by the Human Resource Department. So if you decide you want to vote absentee in person, you are welcome to do so. We will be open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5, and the 2 Saturdays preceding the election, October 24th and 31st, from 9 to 5. You can park in the Union Street lot, which is directly behind City Hall. It is free parking for voters. And there is handicap accessible parking in the semicircle in front of City Hall, as well as some handicap spaces underneath the interstate right behind City Hall. We'll have police assisting us with traffic direction as needed. The building is closed to the public right now, but it will be open just for voting on the 1st floor. And we will have signage posted to direct you where to go. We will have somebody sitting at a front desk assisting, letting us know if we have any curbside voters that might need to vote from their vehicle that can't come inside, so we can help them with that. One of the things that has changed too is that with the General Assembly special session this last week, there were a couple of legislative changes that impacted us locally and across the Commonwealth. You can return your ballot. You've always been able to return your ballot to our office if you wanted to do so, if you received a ballot by mail. But we will have a ballot drop box essentially in the lobby with one of our officers of election station, where you can return your ballot in person if you're more comfortable doing that. We understand there's some concerns in the public with the postal system or, fears that their ballot may not get here. So people want to do it in person, they can do that. When you vote absentee in person, you no longer have to fill out an application. You just bring your voter identification just as you would on election day. So we recommend, although photo ID is not required, we do recommend you bring your Virginia driver's license should you have one, or your Virginia DMV ID. And the reason I say that is our poll pads have a camera feature that scans the barcode and goes directly to your voter record. So it does check you in quicker if you do have a Virginia DMV ID. So we encourage that. The photo ID law was repealed and effective July 1st. You don't have to have a photo ID. There are different forms of voter identification. We've kind of gone back to where we were before photo ID, but there's different forms of identification that you can use. That would include your Virginia DMV ID or driver's license, a passport, military ID, government issued ID, employer ID, with a photo on that one, student IDs, and that includes public and private high schools, and student IDs from colleges, not just in the Commonwealth, but across the United States. If you don't have any of those forms of ID that you can provide, you could also present a mortgage or bank or utility statement or government paycheck that shows your identity. If you don't have any of those, there is an confirmation statement that the voter can fill out affirming who they are, subject to penalty and perjury for committing a false statement if that is found to be untrue. So those are all valid forms of ID, and we will accept all of those. That's one of the changes. Election day is now a holiday. So hopefully that will encourage more people to participate on election day that may not have been able to participate before. We've had a large request, as I said, for absentee ballots by mail. We do expect a large turnout for absentee in person. In addition to our absentee precinct here at City Hall, we will have 4 satellite locations open beginning October the 12th. They will be located at the Jordan Newby Library, the Mary Pretlow Anchor Branch Library, the Lamberts Point Community Center, and the Berkeley Community Center. So we will have those open for various dates and times beginning October 12th. The first week it'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday from 9 to 5, and Tuesday from 11 to 7. The following week will be open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 5, and Tuesday and Thursday from 11 to 7. And the last week will be open Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 5, and Tuesday from 11 to 7. Each night those ballots will be collected that were voted in person, as well as anyone who would like to turn in their absentee ballot by mail to those locations is welcome to do so during those dates and times that were open. All the information is available on our website if you want to check the dates and times. In addition to those locations being drop-off locations for your ballot, you may also return your absentee ballot to your voting place on election day. If you turn your absentee ballot into your polling place, those ballots will be turned in election evening to our central absentee precinct and tabulated after election day. On election day, the results are unofficial, because our electoral board does have to canvass the election, go through, verify the tapes and the results, and certify any provisional ballots and absentee ballots. Another law that changed this session allows for ballots to be counted by the central absentee precinct that were postmarked by election day and received up until noon on the Friday after the election. Previously, you had to have your ballot back to us by 7 o'clock on election night to be counted. In person hasn't changed. That still has to be back to us by 7 o'clock, but anything that is postmarked by election day and received by noon on the Friday after the election will be counted in our central absentee precinct. So those results for central absentee will probably not be certified until the Saturday after the election, because we have to count for that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. In addition to any ballots that were turned to the polling places on election night will have to be added into those numbers as well. So that's kind of where we are with central absentee. Central absentee is going to be very, very busy this election. I'm trying to think of other changes. Did you have any questions for me, Charlie?
No, we'll provide all those locations and times later, and we are, as a committee, are going to be pushing all this information as best we can through all of our contacts.
And
As
Charlie,
I
the PDF I sent you has all that written
Yep.
out. If you just want to email that to everybody, that's fine.
Yep. Yeah.
Right,
Now,
and it's also all up on the website,
that's right.
our website. Everything is there.
Now, I understand, Stephanie, that you now have a high-speed ballot counter,
Yes.
so that you don't
We
have
do
to.
have, yes. So one of the problems with counting ballots in central absentee is you have to feed the ballots into the scanner to be counted, which is a timely process when you have thousands of ballots to be counted. And so we took some COVID CARES Act grant monies that we received from the state, and we purchased a high-speed scanner, which we will use to do what we call pre-processing of the ballots prior to election day. So any ballots that were received in the mail from voters, we will start pre-processing in October, and we will be able to scan those ballots into the high-speed scanner. It does several hundred in a minute, and then those results will be tabulated on election day. So basically it's taking a digital image copy of all of the ballots and storing that, and then those ballots will be counted along with any other ballots received after we end pre-processing the ballots that were received on election day and the ballots that were received after election day that made deadline. So we're excited. It's new equipment that we have to learn to use and get trained on and certify, but it will make the process a lot easier given the large amount of ballots that we expect to be receiving. So we are excited about that.
All right, so we should, unlike some of the stories are saying all over the place, we should get a pretty good idea how Norfolk voted on election night.
Yes, we will have at least the state hasn't really told us how we're reporting on the absentee precinct yet. We're still waiting to hear, but we expect that we'll have some unofficial numbers as of that night.
Right.
And then of course account for any ballots that came in at the polling places and the ballots received after election day. So those numbers will change, and that's just to account for that, so.
All right, I know you have things to do. Any other questions from our members?
Charlie,
Yes, Betty.
I
Hey,
just want
Betty.
to say hi, Stephanie, again. I saw Stephanie earlier this week, and I just want to thank her for her hard work and dedication. I saw the office was swamped, and I thought it kind of looked like a war zone with all of the, with the plexiglass and paperwork, and she was feeding her workers. And I asked her, did she need volunteers? And she said the state was doing a great job of sending volunteers to help out here in Norfolk. So my question is, how can we help?
Anything that you can do. Actually, if anybody's even interested in helping prepare the ballots, we've got several of our chief officers coming in tomorrow and the next day, because we do have to get ballots out. We literally just got ballots yesterday. So we've been preparing them to go out in the mailers, which is a timely process. So if anybody has spare time that wants to come down to City Hall and help with that, we welcome that.
Is it Stephanie? This is a toy. Hello.
Hi.
Is it best for a person when they do come there to vote to bring their parking ticket in with them for it to be validated, or how is that working?
So normally the first 45 minutes of parking is
free anyway.
They know that if you have your I voted sticker, that's your free pass to get out. So,
So the booths will be manned.
yes. Well, they'll have somebody out there so they know.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And let's see, another question from Tim.
I have a question. This is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Stephanie. I can't email you anymore, so I'm going through a toy and Michael and being good.
Yes.
My concern is the people who want to drop off their ballot. I'm hearing a lot of people that want to do that because they don't want to mail it and they don't want to vote in person on the 3rd. Is any of those drop-off boxes going to be outside if there's a line, so the person will know not to have to get in any of the satellite lines and wait forever just to put the you know, or even, you know, the satellites be outside with the drop-off box and the precincts on election day?
We're going to have a person stationed at the front door in the lobby of the locations with a box to receive the ballots. It's not going to be outside. It will have an actual individual officer stationed with those. And that person is going to be doing double duty, not just receiving ballots, but also notifying the chief if we have somebody who needs to vote curbside. The reason we don't have actual like mailbox type drop-off boxes is there are specific specifications that the state requires to include cameras and 2 officers of election returning the ballots, and it has to be manned for, you know, and security recorded. And those boxes run anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. And frankly, we didn't have the time or money to get those in such a short turnaround time. For the voter satellite locations in the central absentee precinct, we're using the black box, Barbara, that we use for provisional, the heavy duty suitcase that has the slit in the top and the lock. That's what we're going to be using at those locations. And then we've purchased some smaller box bags with similar to what we use for outside the polls for all the polling places on election day that we can use again in the future.
All right, so we should tell people if there's a line going down the sidewalk, they can bypass the line and go to the front door.
Yes, if they're just dropping off
Okay,
the ballot
good.
right in, they don't go in line, they can just return their ballot. We are
Great.
also on instruction from the state to determine if somebody else may be able to drop off a ballot for a voter. As it stands right now, the voter's supposed to return their ballot, but that may change. And if that does change, we will let you know. We'll post information on our website. So for example, if a husband's allowed to return his wife's ballot, that kind of thing, we're still waiting to find out more information. It's a very fluid process. Lots of things are changing on it. So any new information, of course, will be coming, and we'll post that on our website.
Right, or maybe for a handicapped person, if the driver can walk up with the ID or something.
Yes. And we do have new signs. You'll be excited about this. We do have new curbside signs for assistance to call our office if a voter needs assistance voting outside at a polling place. They'll call our office and we'll contact the chief at that location to let them know they have a curbside voter as well.
Right, and this is all through Union Street and not Main and St. Paul's.
Yes.
Right.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
they're coming to the main front door where you would normally go to pay your personal property tax or go to the DMV, which are both closed. You can't go there, but that's the answer coming in at.
Great, thank you.
All right. We still have, let's see, we do have 2 people. Let's see if we can do this quickly so she can get back to work here. Tim and Camille. Tim, can you unmute yourself?
I think I just did.
Yes,
I
you
lost
did.
you all. I lost you all for about 5 minutes, so I don't know if I'm repeating the question or not. But I've been reading about drop boxes apparently going to be at each precinct.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about those and what the rules are? Like, I have an elderly neighbor. Could I take my ballot and his ballot and drop them there, or you know, what are?
We will have all the central absentee precinct as well as the vote center locations during our operating hours. We'll have an officer of election stationed with a drop box where you can return your ballot. The polling places on election day will also have an officer of election with a drop box where you can return your ballot. As far as returning someone else's ballot, that has not yet been approved. I've heard talk that might get approved, but we're still waiting to hear from the state. So right now it's supposed to be you returning your own ballot and not somebody else's. And if that does change, we will be posting information on our website.
But Stephanie, if someone was, say in Tim's case, he maybe brought his elderly neighbor in the car,
We could accept it.
Could they do curbside drop off?
Yes, we could do that. One of our officers could go out and get it from them. That's not a problem.
All right.
Okay.
Last question, Camille.
Okay, the ones that are dropped off early for absentee, are they counted by election day?
They will be part of the election day count. Nothing is by election day or before election day. The pre-processing or anything that is received before election day will be part of that pre-processing.
Right.
But all the results are tabulated on election day. So we don't know anything prior to election day.
That's
And then,
fine. I just
Yeah.
wanted it counted.
yeah, yes. No, it'll go in and it'll show in the system if it was pre-processed. The other thing is that there is a bar tracker, or it's a tracking code that will be on the envelopes. So the voters can actually track the status of their ballot should they return it by mail. And we have a link to that website where a voter can check on where their ballot is. It's a ballot tracker, which is pretty cool. One of the things the state has also implemented is what they call it a ballot curing process. And you might have heard of curing before with regards to voter signatures. We don't have like a voter signature match requirement here. We're not handwriting experts, but basically, if a voter's ballot is returned in envelope B as in boy, and it's got their name, their address, and their signature, and let's say they forgot to sign it as the voter, we would contact them to advise them, hey, you didn't sign your ballot. You've got until noon on Friday after the election to take care of this so we can count your ballot. So we'll be reaching out to them either by phone, email, or mail to give them time to correct what needs to be corrected. Now, we're still awaiting guidance again from the state on how that's going to be, if we're going to issue them another ballot and that they do it and spoil the first one, or if they just come in and they do a new envelope. I'm not sure. That's another fluid thing that we're waiting on instruction from the state. That was just something that was approved last week. So our election laws are forever changing and changing how we do things. So
Right.
And Stephanie, the officers will be sort of pre-curing them at the drop-off location.
yes, although the officers are not going to be checking your IDs when you return your ballot, we are going to ask that they first of all ask you, is it a Norfolk ballot, number one? Because we don't want to accept ballots from, for example, college students who might be here but registered at UVA. Their ballots, if they're dropping it off on election day, they're dropping it in the wrong place. It needs to be dropped off at UVA. So we're going to ask if it's a Norfolk ballot and if they filled out envelope B correctly, with their name, their address, and their signature. Witness signature is not required for this election. That has been waived because of the COVID pandemic. You can get a witness signature, but it is not required. So that would not be something that stops your ballot from being counted. But we want to make sure that it is filled out correctly and completely so that we can avoid having to contact you to make those corrections later.
So will it appear on the tracker when we drop it off, say at the drop box?
Not right away. It's once they get turned in that night. So
I mean, I know not right away, but
anything that's dropped off will be turned in each night at the drop-off locations, along with any ballots that were voted in person at those satellites. So it'll probably take a day or so to show up, but yes, we will check those in as we get.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I told you we'd have you here for 15 minutes. We have run over, so it just shows the
Not a
level.
problem.
All right. On behalf of the Norfolk City Democratic Committee, thank you. Please take that thanks to your staff because we know it's a crazy, crazy time. So thank you for all you guys are doing there.
We really are blessed in Norfolk to have pretty much the best registrar in the Commonwealth. And we got lucky here, and her staff is also amazing. So thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. And
thank you.
Personally, I will see you. I don't care about the weather. I'll see you Friday morning at 8:30.
Okay. All right. Take care.
Okay. Take care. Thanks again.
One thing too, can I add? If you all are going to be voting in person, we do recommend that you wear a mask or face covering and practice social distancing and exercise patience because we do expect large crowds of people turning out in person too. So be prepared. Thank you.
Thanks again, Stephanie.
Thank you.
All right. A lot of great information. And as I said, we as a committee are going to be trying to, which you'll see later in the presentation, how the party really wants us pushing early voting. But we do have another speaker. We wanted to kind of get an update on where things stand in Virginia. So Jake is the Deputy Political Director of the Joe Biden campaign here in Virginia. And Jake, if you unmute yourself, kind of give us a rundown of what's happening and where we stand here in the great Commonwealth.
Hey everyone, thank you Charlie for allowing me to speak at this. It's an exciting time right now with it's today 2 more days until early voting starting. I think you'll see an uptick in kind of the Biden campaign's presence throughout the Commonwealth. All of our field staff has been hired out. In the message box, I will type in my email. If you have any questions or concerns, give me a shout out. But most importantly, I think all of you know that most of you already have a plan to vote, and just make sure that when you're talking to people, talking to your friends and family, make sure to get 5 to 10 more people a plan to vote and make sure that they vote early, in person. What we're seeing is that if you've seen in the public polls, he's up by margin, but we can't get soft on. We can't take anything for granted. We just gotta push through this last 46 days. I'll keep it short because I'm guessing a lot of you guys have a lot of questions with the campaign, and yeah, I'll stop right there.
All right, Tim?
Thanks, Charlie. One of the questions I have is about what's going to happen on Election Day. Are we going to have a presence at the polls? And
It's on the agenda.
And as far as the Biden campaign, I've been asking, everybody I can, if we're going to have a presence at the polls, are we going to provide people with like N95 masks so that they're protected and they're also giving the maximum protection to the people arriving and the voters? What's the plan there? And the other thing I'll say is, if the decision hasn't been made yet, it needs to be done soon, or else circumstances will make the decision for us.
What do you mean by presence at the polls?
I mean, in the normal year, we have anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 people at the polls. Usually we're handing out literature, we're talking to voters, we're, all of those types of activities that we'd normally have at each precinct. I can see arguments this year both ways.
Right.
Yes, we want to have somebody there to assist voters, to try to assist, as
Yep.
I do, assist trying to get curbside voting and things like that. But the other thing is, we may be offending voters by being there. They may be saying, you don't care enough about us to potentially pass COVID on to us. So, I don't have the answer, but I do have the question.
Well,
Yeah,
and
so
I was going to
it's a
say,
really good-
just to give you a heads up, Jake, that is a heavy item on the agenda coming up tonight.
Okay, I mean, as a campaign, we're being really conscious about COVID-19 and we're not even door knocking, just because we're afraid to kind of be spreading COVID-19 going to door. But there's been talks in the campaign. There hasn't been really a final decision yet. I think most likely it's going to go state by state as an official campaign, just depending on how the COVID-19 is state to state and if it's safe enough to even do it. But I think the other thing that we're also kind of trying to find volunteers for is for on the voter protection side as poll watchers. I think there's, just because a lot of the poll watchers that we usually get from Maryland are going to different states, so there's just been a really big push on getting poll watchers throughout early voting. If you send me an email, I can connect you with the voter protection team on being a poll watcher. But on that other question, it's just a little, I know it's kind of frustrating, but at the moment, there hasn't really been a decision decided on that.
Some people.
Well, I'll say it again,
Okay.
Especially as far as providing, N95 masks or whatever. At some point, and I don't know what point that is, but at some point, we're going to get to the point where it doesn't matter if we want to provide them if we don't already have them in hand, because we won't be able to get them. And I'm a strong believer of making the decision as opposed to circumstances making the decision. So, and I've spoken not only to the Biden campaign, I've spoke to Loria and to Warner, and so far I'm not getting any real good answers.
Right.
Well, right now, well, Tim, this is a toy right now, as things are looking, we will be out there. You know, now we don't know if circumstances are going to change later on, but right now the plan is for the Norfolk Democratic Committee to be out there the way we always have. As far as all of the other things, we're trying, you know, we're still working on that because this is a most unusual year. So, you know, we don't know what's going to happen, but right now we're kind of going along with business as, you know, as usual.
Right.
Okay.
All right, and again, it's coming up in the agenda. Any other questions for Jake? I thought a couple of hands went up.
Jake, I actually emailed you. If you could check your email later, no problem.
I have a question.
Who was that?
That was me, Michael.
I have a question. If it's all right.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Has there been any thought given to having security guards at the polling places, outside the polling places?
I don't know if, I'm not aware of any discussion on that.
Yeah, that would be a city function.
Yeah, that's a city function, and so the police will be on alert that day to be on standby. But we do not feel that having police officers at the precincts is a good idea. It could be perceived as voter intimidation, and we've been told that by many civic groups. So, so they will be on standby. The Emergency Operations Center will be on standby. Toy and I and Mike, the other electoral board member, will be traveling in police cars to quickly get to problems if there are problems. And also a lot of our staff in our secret elections warehouse, who are the more technical staff, will have access to those police cars. We'll have I think we have 12 police cars that day. 12 officers will be driving us around. So we can get on the city side to get, to fix a problem that might be a poll books that's not working, or a scanner that jammed, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Ruth.
All right. Well, Jake, thanks for the update. Obviously, Norfolk is a critical part of the blue part of Virginia, so we have our work to do. So thanks again. Welcome to stick around if you like. I know I will see you on more Zoom calls. This is going to be a 3 Zoom day for me.
Oh, and then one other thing. I don't know. I thought I was going to get asked this question, but yard signs should be in state by the end of this week, and it's going to go through the CD chairs.
That's on the agenda too, and believe me, nobody is going to be happier than committee and county chairs when those yard signs have been arrived, because we have just been harassed in a good way, but harassed for them. So, all right, that is great news. I was surprised they didn't bring that up at the 5 o'clock call this afternoon. All right. Well, again, Jake, thanks for the update, and feel free to stick around if you'd like. But with that, we're going to go on to our regular campaign updates and agenda. Thanks again. Good seeing you. All right, next things, I changed things around a little bit. In the spirit of campaigns, I moved the campaign updates to the front of the agenda before we go into the other things, so they can go about making calls or whatever else they got to do tonight. So Ryan, you get a double header here. What's going on with Warner and Bobby?
Yeah, so we're pushing along from Senator Warren. We have a lot of events this week. We've had our Veterans and Military Families event kickoff for Warner this past Tuesday. This Friday, we will have an additional event with student leaders throughout the Commonwealth and just promoting early voting throughout their localities. Just some other things. I thought he would have started off with yard signs too, but every committee should have their Warner yard signs by now. I think we gave over, I think it was 150 to the Norfolk committee. So you all should have plenty of yard signs. Feel free to hit up Charlie. He's been doing a great job in helping us get those yard signs out to people when they ask. I think our next step, we will looking to identify locations throughout Norfolk for the bigger yard signs, the 3x4s and the 4x8 yard signs, really on busy fairways and streets, Tyler Drive, Little Creek Road. So if you have any locations that are friendly business owners that will allow us to put a yard sign up on their property, you can reach out to me directly. I'll drop my information in the chat also for that. And also, if you are interested in being a part of the veterans and military family, I know we're in Norfolk, so we have a lot of veterans and military family members. I'll put the sign up for that also in the chat. Really, that's kind of where we're at. We do have a debate coming up with Senator Warner, his opponent, that will actually be in Norfolk for the Hampton Roads area. That'll be at Norfolk State University on October 3rd. So if you are interested in getting more information about that debate, I'm not sure yet if there will be people in person in the audience, but I will have further information as that date approaches. Just have to get more information about that.
Good.
So that's kind of where we're at, but I definitely, the debate will be live streamed, so I'll pass that information to you all. If you have any questions from me, feel free to hit me up. Not too far away. I'll jump over to Bobby Scott update because I'll get that also.
Okay, before you go, Ryan, you left something on the table there, and I did
the annual pig roast, I apologize, is tomorrow also. With Senator Warner, Cory Booker and Dr. Jill Biden will be on too. So I'll drop the information for the pig roast too. I think I saw an email was sent out from
I sent it out.
Norfolk Dems too. Okay, I think that's a different question. So I'll give a Bobby Scott update too. We had the Labor Day cookout this past Labor Day. Very good turnout virtually. I think it was Wavy TV 10 also picked it up and cross-streamed it to their page too. So I think about 30,000 views overall for the Labor Day cookout. I know Charlie made a guest appearance also for that, and Linwood. So thank you all for your videos. Congressman Scott is giving out yard signs too. I got a toys message earlier. We will get Warner yard signs and Scott yard signs to you all for precinct coverage coming up soon. And there may be some events too in which Congressman Scott may partake in to amplify the message of early voting. And that may be, he may come in person. Obviously, we'll look at the social distance, but anything we plan on doing in Norfolk will definitely make you all aware of. So other than that, just stay tuned to his Sunday conversations. He has about every 2 weeks. This past week, it was Congresswoman Maxine Waters joined him. So just stay tuned to that, and we'll keep pushing things out from his Facebook page. And also, he has a revamped website too. So feel free to take a look at that.
Yeah, those Sunday conversations have been great, Ryan. I really love the one with Cornell Belcher. That was fantastic.
Yeah. I remember you were on that one too.
Yeah.
Having some beverages. So that's all I really have.
That's normally right in the middle of my Sunday grilling time back there. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Now, the yard signs, those are going to be for precincts or for distribution?
I think we'll give Scott ones for distribution and precincts. We'll work that out as we get closer. It'll be fluid, really, as this year has been so far. So we'll work that out as we get closer. I think for some of our localities, we have to such as Norfolk, we may give additional alignment of Warner ones. And I'm pretty sure we'll get some more Scott ones to you for distribution, and also we'll look out for coverage too. I'll work that out. I know they may order some more too, both campaigns. So just stay tuned for that.
This will be our 10th election for our Scott yard sign. So,
they're the same sign every year too, so feel free to pull.
Sign every year. Okay, Ryan, I appreciate it. Now we have a new person here. I think she just got hired. I don't know. Ayana Eder. Did I do justice with that?
Yes, you did. Hi.
Hi. Okay, Ayana, and you are with the coordinated campaign?
Yes, I am. My name is Ayana Eder. For those of you who do not know, I'm a current senior at Hampton University, and this year I have the opportunity of being the new Norfolk Field Organizer for Elaine Loria. So I'm in charge of the precincts. I'm in charge of our Norfolk, Hampton, and Newport News, and my job is to recruit as many volunteers as I can. So we have about 4,900 persuasion calls left to make, and I'm recruiting all volunteers, any groups interested. So if you all know, or if you're interested yourself, I would really appreciate if you reach out to me. I'm going to drop all of my information in the chat box below. Now, when Get Out to Vote begins, it'll be a little different. We're going to be doing contactless lift drop-offs, which we're going to be doing flyers and all of that good stuff, dropping door to door. And I'll also need volunteers in charge of running that. But as of right now, we're asking our volunteers to make about 50 calls, which is one shift completed. And then starting, I believe, September 20th, we're going to be doing large phone bank parties every night. So you guys are, feel free to join on, make some calls with us. We'll have fun together via Zoom. And if you all have any other questions, comments, or concerns, as I stated previously, all my information will be dropped in the chat box below.
Now, is part of that what you just referenced part of the weekend of action, or is that something a little different? Because I put the link up there, Emma from Virginia Victory wanted to make sure we let people know of the mobilized sign up for the weekend of action coming up.
So I just dropped my mobilized link. You guys can go ahead and, save it, copy it, and click it, and you guys can use that one.
Okay.
But that's
Very
all
good.
I have. Nice to meet everyone.
I have a question for you. So are you with the coordinated campaign or are you with Elaine Loria?
I'm with
both.
So my job position is a field organizer. I'm new, so I'm with her campaign, but there's, we have Virginia Beach, we have Williamsburg, we have Norfolk. So there's different field organizers for those areas.
Just take a look at her email address and it'll tell you it's not Elaine Loria direct. It's
right. So then my question is the coordinated campaign something that one can donate money toward? Or is that something that's funded only by the state party and then you donate money to the state party to help the coordinated campaign?
I am not sure on that question. I can get your answer to that question. Now, I know we do have
most likely the DPVA, yeah.
I have a link that if you would like to donate to Elaine Loria, I can drop as well. But for your question, I can get that answered.
Okay. I will shoot you an email so you can write me back. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, a couple of quick questions because gosh, I can't believe we are running out of time again. Is there a question? I think a couple of hands raised. Can we make them quick? Anybody?
Charlie, I'll go ahead and ask. Is there a link that we can use? My schedule is very sporadic. Is there a link that we could use to be able to make phone calls? I'll say at our convenience.
So the phone bank link stays good until, voting starts. So if you email me, I can send all of that information to you. But for our records, I have to put something in the system that says that you're going to make these calls this day. But I can work something out with you according to your schedule, and I can send you all the information you'll need for the phone bank.
Okay. Well, usually what happens with my schedule is I may have a half hour or an hour come up that I feel I can be free, but it's like it happens kind of instantaneously. It's not something that like tomorrow, I don't know what my schedule will be tomorrow, but I'd like to make more. I should be doing more than I currently am. And
well, and yeah,
this COVID thing and everything else, it's been a real storm of doo-doo, we'll say.
Tell me about it.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you shoot me an email, I can, set that up and I can send you the phone bank link and you can make as many calls whenever you'd like to. and I can.
Let's see, yeah.
Is your email in the chat?
Yes, sir. Everything is in the chat.
All right, I'll grab it right now. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Tom Reel, you got something, Tom? Unmute yourself.
I got it. Okay, I am unmuted. Real briefly, I've got somebody staying at my house named Jeremy Owen who's working for Digidems and working on the Lane Luria's campaign. And about 1 minute ago, he was listening to this and he said, "Is that Ayanna?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "She's great."
Thank you.
So I just want to pass that along in case anybody else hadn't figured that out.
Well, there you go. Positive feedback is a good thing.
Thank you.
All right, and let's see. There's other people here. Jerry Collins. Can you hit that microphone in the bottom corner and unmute yourself? Or how about if I do it, ask to unmute?
I think I'm
There you go. There you go.
Okay. I am all prepared to cover my precinct on election day. And I have my own PPE and I'm prepared to wear gloves and give out whatever literature I have. And I'm getting concerned. Our part of the Democratic Party, we seem like we're sort of behind the handball. And where I live, I see Donald Trump signs up and down. I know that I heard what he said and ours will be coming. But I would love to see Joe Biden and Camilla and the Democratic committee step it up because this is serious. And I hate to be behind the eight ball. And I would just like to see us step it up a bit. But I'm all ready to cover my polls on election day. And my next thing is I was going to ask for a list so that I can call some of the people in my district to see who would be willing to volunteer. So that's my make on it.
Just for your precinct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me write that down. We will get you a phone list for, that's OV school, right?
Huh?
OV school, right?
It's on Mason Creek. Is that what you call
Yeah,
it?
Ocean View School. Ocean View Elementary is your precinct, yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
OV school.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll get you a list.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And last question, because we are running so late. Ruth?
Charlie, I've asked. My question has been answered.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, this Mobilize link, the one I have up, or conversely, the one Yana has up, if we can volunteer, if we can get 10, 20, 50 calls in, it goes a long way to get it done. So let's do our part. So again, welcome. Thank you. And rumor has it you're great, Ayanna.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Thanks all, and feel free to stick around. So let's get to our regular business and see if we can do this quickly. Reports. Barbara, we sent the minutes. They were included in the email announcing the meeting. And again, if there is no objection, we will, by acclamation, accept the minutes. Are there any objections to the minutes?
I just want to make one comment on the report I gave last month. It stated that I did, let's see, the part about an event in Virginia Beach in honor of deceased activist Yvonne Miller. The event that I did for voter registration was not in honor of her. I attended and did voter registration pretty much as a surrogate because they usually call on her to do voter registration in Virginia Beach. So it wasn't, they were not honoring her. So I wanted to make that clear that it was not an event to honor Yvonne Leonard, if
That's
that makes any sense.
something we do amend before we approve?
Yes, we would need to vote on new language to correct the minutes.
All right, Betty, would you make a motion to amend the minutes that were submitted?
I'll make a motion. Do I need to state what the new motion is? I mean, statement is?
Just clarifying the Yvonne Leonard
Okay.
event.
I make a motion that we clarify that the event in Virginia Beach was a voter registration event, a community voter registration event. And I attended as a surrogate for Yvonne Leonard.
I second.
The late Yvonne Leonard.
Yeah, Yvonne was a force in Virginia Beach. All right, again, if there are no objections to the amendment, hearing none, we will then ask with the amended minutes. If there are no objections to the amended minutes, we will accept them. Are there any objections? 3, 2, 1. Okay, very good. Minutes as amended are approved. Treasurer's report. If you recall, we missed last month because of the National Convention. So Grant, you have 2 months. You got July and August to go over.
Cool. So we had pretty good months, both in July and August, and we're doing great in September as well. So overall, we had a beginning balance in July of $8,736.23. We brought in almost $730, and our only expense for the month of July in terms of bank withdrawals was for our Zoom. We did have some ActBlue fees that came in there. We had $100 in dues. And so overall, we had a pretty solid month and ended the month of July at $9,448.49. And then moving into August.
You know, let's just do this. Okay, the July
Can you not
Treasurer's
hear me?
report has been filed. Again, if there are no objections, by acclamation, we'll accept July. 3, 2, 1. July is accepted. All right, now.
Cool. So with August, again, we were doing pretty well. We had some expenses, and then we received some dues and donations that came in. And Charlie was able to put out a call to a lot of the Biden donors, and we were able to bring in money. And then looking for September, we have since September 1, we brought in an additional $1,000. So we're in a good position there. And yeah, I mean, I think we're in a good place. I'm not sure what the dates are on that report there. Might have to go back and check. I'm not sure if I sent you the wrong one or what was going on there, but that appears to be a different one.
The August one that I have up?
Yeah, it says June on that one.
Where?
On the right.
Where?
It says August at the top.
Under bank activity.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I changed it up top. That is the August report. I beg your pardon. That came in. So,
Okay.
But you have receipts of 656 on the right, but not on the left.
Yeah, because so the money was not input into the bank account prior to September 1st.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So the SBE reporting. Yep.
September will be.
Yeah, the SBE.
Yeah.
Yeah, so SBE is what we're reporting for having received it within the month of August. However, it didn't get into the bank prior to the 1st of September. So that's why it didn't go into the activity on the bank side.
So it'll all catch up by the time the third quarter comes to an end.
Yep. Third quarter ends at the end of the month, so we're good there.
All right. And again, we've had some a little bit of success raising some money because we didn't have cookouts and other traditional fundraising. So I got a call today, by the way, Grant. I got a couple more checks that are coming into the PO box. So and
great.
And I have some commitments for are a couple of nice checks as well that I gotta peel it out of them, I guess. So, all right.
That's
So,
okay.
August report is filed. Hearing no objections, we will accept it by acclamation. And again, 3, 2. Scott, what you got?
Sorry to interrupt, but I just got to point out, I did this in the chat too. The beginning balance and the ending balance dates are incorrect.
Yep, that was my fault. That is August. I did not correct the slide.
Okay,
So
just
the red part.
I think maybe I heard you say that. I'm sorry. All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's the red part of August. So I need an editor. So all right. So that's not an objection. That is the August report. So without objection, 3, 2, 1, August is accepted. All right. Atoy, you have anything that's not covered in the upcoming agenda items?
Can I ask a quick question? Are the signs coming out of the September budget then? Are we paying for signs, the city?
We'll get to that. It's coming up.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
Just for me, October, folks. We'll come up with a date later, but we will do a Zoom thing for the precinct captains and the assistant precinct captains in October. Date to be determined later.
All right. And the only thing I want to do in the form of a chair's report that's not covered on the upcoming agenda is we have been trying to be more active in a social media presence. We're getting a lot of involvement. People following our page is going up and up. All I'm asking for from our members is make sure, one, you have liked our page, you have followed us on Twitter, and when we post something, if you do political things on your Facebook page, I know some people don't, please share it and expand our imprint. Again, we've had this yard sign blitz thing going. So I don't know if you guys take our page and share it on your pages, maybe we can grow and even get more yard signs out when they come in. So participate, like us, share us, do all that kind of stuff. All right, let's moving on to the agenda. Committee reports. We have some new people.
We sure do. As you can see on the list, we have 2 people that Charlie has already approved as associate members, Glynis Mason from Ingleside and Grayson Orsini from Larchmont Library. And we have 4 others who need approval by the full committee. 1 new precinct captain, Roshan Morbia from Chrysler Museum, who I believe is in the meeting here.
Right.
And 2 assistant precinct captains, Joy Morbia, also from Chrysler, and Drew Lusher from Lindenwood. We need those, and we have 1 nominee for an at-large membership, Craig Snyder from Granby, who I believe is also here tonight.
Yes.
So if we can vote on those 4.
All right.
Motion to accept the individuals as listed.
I second the motion.
Or whatever we need.
Okay. Are there any objections to the 4 nominations? 3, 2, 1. Hearing no objections by acclamation, but I do want to give each Rashawn, Joy, I don't think Drew is on the call, and Craig to just real quick introduce themselves. Rashawn?
Hey there. I spoke up earlier. I'm Roshan Morbia. I live here in downtown Norfolk, the Chrysler precinct as mentioned, and been in the area for a couple of years, and I'm just trying to get much more involved given the circumstances.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, and I do want to take this opportunity to, let's see, look at Chrysler. Where are you, Chrysler? Whose turf is that? That's Bob Baxter. Bob Baxter, you need to reach out to Rashawn and talk.
I'll put my email in the chat.
Yep, Bob Baxter is
Will do.
Yeah, Chrysler is one of our busier precincts, so you've picked a wonderful time to join. We're glad to have you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Happy to help.
Joy was on the call. You want to introduce yourself, Joy?
I'm here. Sorry, I had a previous meeting on a different Zoom call, and I'm actually in the same house as Roshan.
Yeah.
I'm Roshan's wife. We are both new and excited to be in the area. They say never, but we plan on being here indefinitely and just want to get more involved in the things that we care about and we're passionate about. So yeah, I'm excited
Very
to be
cool
here.
group. You're gonna love us.
Yeah. Thank
And
you
we're
very
gonna
much.
love
And
you.
I'm also just
Love you too.
FYI, I am 100% Latina. I spoke Spanish before I spoke English. So if anyone needs any Spanish speaking fluent, when I speak Spanish, I don't have an accent at all. So use me, please. I'm happy to help out wherever I can.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting. I did have an outreach, which Megan, I didn't get to you yet, but I got an outreach from a Hampton Roads Hispanic outreach person, Luis Jimenez. And I told him, to be honest with you, Joy, our Hispanic involvement in the city or our through Hispanic has not been good. So Megan, who's coming up, who is our outreach person, anything we can do to reach into that community, be greatly appreciated, whatever help you can do.
I have some ideas. I've said this since we moved here because I don't have much interaction with a lot of the Hispanic community. And yeah, I have lots of opinions and observations about this. So I'm happy to help.
Okay.
And I already really enjoyed Joy, so we'll have fun kind of coming up with some of those ideas. I'm glad Luis reached out to you. I had reached out to him a couple months ago and sent contact information for us. So I'm glad that happened finally.
Okay. Would it be inappropriate to say muy bien? Muy bien? All right. And Craig Snyder, you still on the call, sir? Let me see. Craig, are you on here? Well, if you are and you unmute yourself, we can come back to you. But okay, welcome all. It's not that we don't have the most important election of our lives, but we got the most important election of our lives coming up. There really is no old business dangling. So moving on to a new business.
Tommy.
Yes.
I have a report.
Oh, geez. Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I take that back. Oh my God, I got all of them. I'm trying to get to the finish line. Real quick, Megan, anything on the outreach? I beg your pardon.
I would just urge people, if they haven't gotten their masks yet for the committee, to go ahead and do that. I've been wearing mine around Norfolk, and it has started a couple good conversations. You know, they've become sort of fashion symbols now, so people actually do read and look at what's on your mask. And it is a really simple thing. I get a lot of compliments, and it just kind of starts the conversation. So I would encourage people to do that. I also would like to just take a quick couple seconds to announce that I have also announced my candidacy for Norfolk's Commonwealth Attorney for next year. So I look forward to, once we get through November and getting all the important stuff we need to get done, talking and meeting and answering any questions people have. I think it's going to be a really exciting race.
Which, by the way, you know, you talk about the walking advertisement of the mask. Let me see if I can do this, get it up there. I print these things out and I hand them out all the time. Norfolk City Committee, my name, contact, our website. And I used to have on the backside when and where we physically met, but I took those off in the interim until COVID goes and we're physically meeting again. So,
Charlie, I forgot to tell you before, mention it before, that I was actually parked in my wife's car.
No, see?
At Harris Teeter a few weeks ago, and you left one. I'm guessing because we have a Biden sticker on the bumper.
Every time I see a Biden bumper sticker, I pop one in their door. So absolutely, constant outreach.
Things.
So there you go.
He's not lying.
These things can work. Excellent. Well, I'm so happy. So and if you want, I have a whole bunch of these American flag ones. I can try and get them to you, or you can go to the stationery store and print them up. I can email the and I can send you the template and all you have to do is change the name and title and phone number and stuff. But let me know if you want the template, and I'll get it to you, or make yourself up. Okay, perfect.
Charlie, Megan. Also for outreach, I've noticed in my neighborhood, which can be conservative, a whole bunch of Warner Luria signs.
Yes.
And those would be prime houses to target for a Biden sign.
Yes.
I mean, if those people are voting for Mark Warner and Elaine Luria, they're voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So, you know, maybe I'll write down the house numbers, and Randy can look them up in the van and give them a call.
We have those house numbers.
Sitting here with me saying we will absolutely go up to those houses and see if they want to sign if we get it.
Well, I would say most of them are going to be covered, because what you see all up in the Algonquin area is the handiwork of Laurie Naismith. I have given Laurie Naismith so many signs, and she has gotten them up all in that neighborhood. I like just driving through it. Every other house has a Laurie or a Warner sign. It's really cool.
Oh, they're all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's Laurie Naismith's handiwork. God bless her.
Great.
And she's already beating me up for dozens and dozens and dozens of Biden signs. So,
Charlie, real quick too, Roshan just posted how he gets his Norfolk Dems mask. And so, Roshan, it comes with your membership. So hopefully you'll be getting them in the mail soon, would be my guess.
I'll hang it on your doorknob, or two of them for you in your case. I'll hang them up on your doorknobs or get them out. Yep.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, let me jump to Carolyn. Again, this is a tough gig under the times of COVID. We don't have a lot of physical events. Anything you wanted to add?
I picked a really good time. I picked a really good time to be part of this committee. I didn't want to do any work. You know, maybe something we could think about is something virtual after, you know, on election. I don't know if that's election day, if that's something they would want to consider. You know, just give that some thought. I think that, you know, after the polls close, kind of a virtual watch party. So just something to think about.
Hey, I'm in. Any human interaction, I'm for it.
Okay, let's start talking about that then.
Okay, let me do this. I think if I can transition to this, Betty, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Norfolk Dems. Come on. Mobile, where are you? Oh, shoot. Did you send it to the Norfolk Dems, Betty, or just?
Yes, Norfolk Dems.
There it is. All right. And come on, open up. Oh, this was a video, wasn't it?
Yes. While the video is coming up, to make this quick, I just want to remind everybody that September the 22nd is National Voter Registration Day. So I will put a link in the chat box where if you are willing to help register voters, you can go and take the half-an-hour training and help get some of these people registered before October the 13th, which is the deadline. I won't go through the deadlines because Stephanie did that already. So I just want to share some of the activities that's been going on since we last met in a short 30-second video. Will it play?
All right.
It's the November 3rd voter outreach.
Betty.
Oh, can you blow it up? Okay. Oh. Okay, that was just a quick 30-second video of what has been going on since we last met. I want to thank Dave and Jerry for showing up at Tidewater Tech a few days ago to help me with some voter outreach there. We registered, hold on, let me get Tidewater Tech. We registered 9 voters and 2 people applied to get their rights restored. One of those things is was the Norfolk City Jail in that video where the absentee ballots have gone out, and we've got 6 responses, and I've taken 2 of the absentee ballot requests over to Stephanie Iles so that they can start receiving their ballots inside the Norfolk City Jail.
Okay.
Let's see. Also, 2 other people from the committee came over and did the voter registration training, Kim Brown and Fred McCrae. Kim is going to be representing the ILA doing voter registration training, and so I'm excited to have her on the team for voter outreach. And Fred McCrae, he's going to help me do the barbershop outreach. He's a barber and has a business, so he's going to help with that effort. We mentioned last time a need for souls to the poll and polls. And I was on a state call a few days ago, and I know the state just hired 2, brought on, I don't know if they're hired or volunteers, but there are 2 people who will address that rise to the poll across the state, and I guess send those people to those organizations or volunteers to areas where that's needed. And I know we need that in Norfolk. Jason was on the call with us last month, and he was looking into the Southeastern Senior Services to see what they can offer. And he's gonna kind of tag with me to bring the information that that's provided there. Don't want to leave anything out.
All right.
We'll put it in the group chat.
So if you can unmute Jason. Oh, there he is. Yes, Jason, can you tell us what you came up with the Souls to the Poll? Or
Yes, definitely. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia will be partnering with our community partners, Hampton Roads Transportation, to provide free rides to our seniors to get to the polls safely to and from. I'm going to put the information in the group chat for the contact information for the number for the free ride. And if you have any additional services, my email will be in there. And just, hey, we're here to save the greatest generation with Senior Services. I look forward to working with you.
All right, and that's senior. So somebody with a disabilities, that's a different deal?
If definitely still reach out. We can work it out. I'll make sure that we get them to the polls.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
And I say it every month, Betty, you're doing the Lord's work, getting people registered and their rights restored.
That's it.
All right, we only have about 10 minutes, 9 minutes, so we gotta go through some of this stuff. All right, let's see if we can run through this quickly so we're not, because believe it or not, I have a call at 9 o'clock to get on. Yard sign updates, we've touched base with it. They're coming in. And I don't know how many times I've had to send people emails. We are waiting like you. So I did create a mobilized link. You probably are aware. I have over 200 people that have signed up by address and by precinct. So when those signs come in, we're going to have to get together, bring favorite beverage, pizza, whatever. We got to put them together and we got to get them out. The plan is to go through area chairs who can then disseminate them out to precinct captains. I also have volunteers who are ready to drive around precincts to get them out. So we're going to be delivering those yard signs. And whoever was saying, Jerry, you were saying there's no yard signs. I am hoping within a couple of days, as soon as those signs are in, there's going to be Norfolk is going to be covered in Biden signs. So
and Charlie,
election day.
So you can also put signs out outside the satellite early voting places, as long as they're just like election day outside the 40-foot line.
Right. Very good. All right. Election day coverage. I don't think we have enough time to do this, give this justice, but we touched on it in the earlier calls, Tim and Jerry and what have you. Bottom line, what we are going to do, we are not asking anybody to put their life and health at risk. If you are not comfortable working the polls, we're not going to ask you to do it. If we can find alternative people to cover it, But here is something that we were kicking it around. In lieu of necessarily a lot of face-to-face handing out sample ballots, we could actually put up big 4x4 Democratic sample ballots. 4 foot by 4 foot Democratic sample ballot, Biden, Harris, Warner, Loria, or Scott, as the case may be. There's no physical contacts. There's no paper to be passed out. No face mask requirements. That may be something. And just to give you an idea, 25 of those guys, $30 a sign plus the green post and shipment, be about $750 to $800. We got 50 of them. The difficulty there is we have 2 different congressional districts, but 50 is $23, which again be about $1,150 to $1,200. And if we got 100, that would be $16. So it's not that much money to get these 4x4 sample ballots. I don't know if that is an attractive alternative to precincts that physically their captains don't want to be there. I'm just throwing it out there.
Charlie?
Yes.
I think that would be great whether the captain is there or not. That way you're not touching anything and the person's not having to receive anything, but they can see it.
Right.
I'd be willing to contribute to it.
Okay.
I echo her comment. I think that's I mean, even if you have someone there, why not have that big sign? You can point to it, say, please vote for our candidates.
Okay, now we did this with those sample yard signs. We were kicking it around, and I know I got all that pushback, so I'm assuming the same pushback would be there, having Loria and Scott in order so that we just have one printing is not a good idea. We want to have Loria for the second and Scott in the third and not mix them up. Is that same concept pretty much agreed to?
Yeah, I agree with that, Charlie. We just need to, get the count right when we're printing.
Right. Okay. So it'll
make sure it's right. Yep.
Yeah,
Make sure to get a mix of signs to split precincts.
And buying those big signs, isn't it basically the same amount of money as if we had printed out the thousands of pieces of paper?
Yeah, I think we're still going to need to print out a piece of paper because I know, listening to Tim earlier tonight, he's going to be there. Not Jerry wants to be there. So we'll probably, but the printing cost is going to be so much reduced for election day sample ballots.
That's just in case somebody wants something. And on our sample ballots this year, the other things that are going to be on the ballot will not be a part of our sample ballot. Okay.
No, we are not swimming in that.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not in that pool. All right. Well, that's
Charlie,
good. Yes.
Is it possible on those 4x4 signs? I was just thinking, could we put a little holder, for lack of a better term, that we could put the sample ballots in so that people who were interested in having the sample ballot to walk with them into the poll could pull one out of the, on the holder on the sign and not have to have contact?
Tim, this is Carrie. I had thought about the same thing, and then I thought about if the wind is blowing and the papers get strewn all over the place, if people are not there, or somebody decides to pull them, and it
would have to be designed. Yeah, it would have to be designed such that it wouldn't blow all over. You're right.
Right. I do think, though, that with the 4x4, one of the huge advantages would be to sit there and tell people to take a picture with your camera if you can't remember. I mean, everybody's got a phone, and most of them all have cameras. So.
Okay, I'm going to go forward. We're going to have our creative team come up with a good-looking design for the sample ballots to get over to economy printing. Our good union printers to get these things going. So the executive board will move together and collaborate moving forward, figuring out a design and the quantities, et cetera, et cetera. Satellite locations. Again, once we get these things in, we could certainly probably post these things at the satellites. We might need to bring them up at night. I don't know. But is there any appetite to try and organize coverage for those days at the satellite locations? These are, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, whatever hour. Those are some long days and all that.
I think we would need to emphasize getting a lot of people so we can break up the shifts.
Yeah, absolutely. It would require a big volunteer effort to man those satellite precincts for 3 weeks, out. Is there an appetite for that? We can certainly try it.
The real question is there a time best spent there or a time better spent helping the campaigns doing things at various?
That's the $64 question. Is flushing voters more appropriate than greeting voters? We face that every year.
Are you getting the precinct captains the list for their precinct to call?
Yep, I will get that to you. Yep. We did have one, what I call the neighbor to neighbor call, and we didn't get a lot of participation, but that's another story, and I don't want to even go there. Quickly, we're running out of time. I got a bunch of hands up here. If we can run through these quick. Scott Harris, your thoughts? Are you there, Scott?
If it looked like, hey, sorry, if it looked like I had my hand up, I apologize. I don't have my hand up. Thank you.
Okay, Jerry Collins. Jerry, I sent a request on mute. Tom Rio, you still got your hand up, or is that from the other one?
Charlie, can you hear me?
That's for the other. That's for the other one, Charlie.
Okay, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, I was just going to say, with the sign, that would be perfect for any captains that wanted to work their polls, because I'm hoping we would have lines that day. And if the captain is there with that sign, it would give us an opportunity to practice safe distancing, but we will also have that presence there. So that works for me just fine. And I hope it worked for others also.
Yeah, we'll have a combination, and each precinct might be different, but that's I get the sense that's how we're going forward, and I appreciate it. And Galaxy Tab, who is that?
That's me, Charlie. That's me, Charlie.
Hey, how are you? How you feeling, girlfriend?
How you doing? Good evening to everybody. I wanted to say that the Longshoreman, we're going to be doing phone banking at the Longshoreman Hall if anybody's interested.
Great. Okay, what kind of hours?
I'll let you know the hours, and we'll be doing social distancing.
All right.
That will be that's the only way we can do it.
Yeah.
But we're paying, so anybody who wants to do it, just let me know.
Okay. Drop your email in the chat box if you would, Tim.
Okay.
All right, and Tim.
Huh?
Tim Rothgeb.
Charlie, with the election falling on the 3rd, that means the Saturday is the 31st. Are we going to shift the November breakfast meeting to the 31st so that we can have that meeting just before the election to get organized for November 3rd?
Wow. You are further advanced than I am right now, Tim. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Haven't given it any thought, but thanks for the heads up.
All right.
We basically rise to the polls. I just put it up there that we reached out to the NAACP. They're not doing it this year. Jason touched on it. And I did have one minister reach out. He may have a van that he's willing to offer. So just a heads up, we are still going to be trying to facilitate rides to the polls as necessary. God, I would love to get these people voting long before November 3rd, though, and make our life simpler. One of the other things we're doing as part of the follow-up, Stephanie mentioned it, there's 20,000 at now, probably growing absentee ballots that have been requested. We're going to see if we can have our precinct operations call those people to make sure, did you vote? Did you vote? Did you vote? Did you take it to a, you know, whatever? Did you mail it? Did you drop it off at the satellite? Just making sure anybody who requested it is getting voted. So that's going to be coming up in the next week or so. That's a lot of people to contact to make sure they're voting.
Just a quick heads up, you can go to any satellite location. You don't have to go to a particular one. Any of the 4 will do.
All right. And I'm not going to go into some of this other stuff. This Vote Joe app is really cool. I'm going to send it out. There is a training this Sunday. It is what's the term? Not familiar, but basically organizing the people in your phone. You can download this app, this Vote Joe app. They will send you information how to vote, and it will allow you to transmit that to your contacts in your phone book, and you can send them information on voting, this, that, and the other thing. I will get that out. There will be training Sunday, so be on the lookout for the email on that. It seems like a heck of a way to reach out one heck of a lot of people by getting your contacts in your phone involved.
But Charlie, a quick question. The 20,000 people that you were talking about, some of those are going to be Republicans and some are Democrats?
Yes.
That we would be calling? Okay.
Yeah, the Republicans will call to make sure that mail-in voting was canceled, because we know that's nothing but voter fraud, mail-in voting. So don't do it. Carrie, what do you got? Gary Buchanan, you got something?
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself for a second. Voter protection training, I don't think we've talked about that at all. Sandra Brandt usually does it, but I don't know if she's busy with Nancy Guy or what's going on with that.
They a lot. Jessica Colleen left the governor's office. She's heading that up. I can send information out on it. They are recruiting 1,000 voter protection people in the state. And we just, that 5 o'clock call I mentioned I was on, they talked about it because they have to not only organize the traditional election day, but they also got to now organize satellite locations and 3 weeks of hours. So Jessica Colleen is the DPVA person. Jacetta Scott is another person. And they are organizing and looking for all the voter protection volunteers they can.
Hey, Charlie?
Yes.
And
Charlie?
Linwood?
Charlie, this is Linwood.
Yes.
Hey, yes. Hey, Chaz Richardson, he's been handling that, taking the lead on that for Norfolk for the last several years. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him on one of these calls in a while, but I mean, he's pretty good at that. So if he volunteers to take the lead on that, that'll save you a lot of time.
Yeah, okay.
I spoke with Sandra today, and she told me that the voter protection person for Norfolk was Betty Potts. And Betty was heading it up.
Betty, did you know
So
that?
Betty's your
Congratulations.
Betty is your contact.
Okay. I was on a call this week, and I was told everything is still being worked out, and it will be coming down to the localities. So I have nothing to report.
All right, Carrie, I can send that information out, but that is a very active, ongoing thing that the DPVA is doing, and I'll get information out, but you know, and unless if that is where you want to put your efforts in, that's fine and dandy. You know, our efforts are going to be doing a lot of other things as well. So you got to pick your poison and volunteer where your passion lies.
And that's what they're looking for, is just volunteers, people willing to do poll watching inside and outside. So
right. They in that call this afternoon, they were literally, I mean, it's a moving part going on right now, which polls they want to have, you know, early voting people and all that. So again, it's a moving part that's happening real time.
Hey, Charlie Linwood, hey, can you clarify, are we talking poll watching or are we talking voter protection?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, because
Okay,
right now,
well, they're different things. Go ahead, Betty. They're different things. I'm just trying to, what are we talking about? We need volunteers for voter protection, poll watching. Voter protection is a totally different thing than poll watching. So I'm trying to figure out, what are we talking about in this instance?
All right. As it was related to me this afternoon, they were trying to identify precincts and jurisdictions where they were literally looking for poll watchers as well. Let me get that clarified, because again, it's something happening in real time. So,
and again, and then what I understand what you're saying, the difference is, and I think they have attorneys for the voter protection. They're looking for people with legal background
I think they're
experience for voter protection. Poll watchers can be all volunteers at the poll, watching out, making sure no one's turned away. If someone they would be, that person would have a contact number to reach out to the voter protection team. So all of those things are not in place yet, but just being talked about. And both are going to be needed at certain key precincts.
All right.
But the whole program is called voter protection.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All of that.
All right. We're already 10 minutes over. I got other people and a couple other items and open forum. Carrie, what do you got? Is that an old hand raise or the current one?
Yeah, it's an old hand raise.
Okay. All right. Real quick, just finishing up here. The party, as I said, they're going to be pushing early voting, and the terms they want us to use in our social media and in our communication is early voting is easy and convenient. They poll tested those terms, and those are the ones that work. So whenever you're talking about it, just let them know, hey, you can vote Friday morning. It's easy and it's convenient. Which, by the way, if anybody wants to join me, I am going to be down at City Hall at 8:30, I guess in a driving rain, apparently. Because this other website, the VA Victory Toolkit, I have it up here. It's a whole sample of things in their digital department. I'm down there at 8:30. I'm supposed to be taking Facebook Lives and this, that, and the other things, sending it out. And it gets spread out digitally through
my meeting.
social media platforms. So they really want us to
get fed. I'm in my meeting.
Yep. They really want us to try and use that digital platform. I voted. Here's my sticker. Here I am voting. Because again, we want everybody voting long before November 3rd if we can. The only other thing I have, since we're out, the DNC tool, you probably have all used it and seen it, the iwillvote.com. Feel free to share that. That is the way people can check on the voter registration, getting absentee ballots and all that information. So if people are asking you a question, just send them to that iwillvote.com website. So with that, at a very late time, members' concern and announcements. I know, Tom, what do you got with the symphony?
Yes, I'm going to keep this super short under the circumstances. If everyone will just visit vsomusicians.org. It's on the chat, vsomusicians.org. Everything is there that I was going to say. I will. It's crunch time for your union musicians here. It's really tough. If you go to the Symphony's website, you probably wouldn't learn that we've been furloughed with no paychecks to the end of this year. So go to vsomusicians.org and check us out. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, oh God, it's tough. Any other concerns or announcements?
Yeah, Charlie, this is Ophelia.
Go ahead, Ophelia.
Thank you. On the 27th, Saturday, September, at 2:30, there will be Social Justice University. If you're interested in figuring out the issues that are salient right now and like to learn how to be an advocate and sign up for a visit with newly elected legislators, please attend virtual Social Justice University. It is a legislative advocacy collaborative of Hampton Roads. I've sent the information to Charlie. If he finds it appropriate, he can send it out. Also, in support of Black Lives Matter and racial equity, there will be a pilgrimage on Saturday the 26th. Two locations, 10 o'clock, the historic marker at Old Point Comfort, and at 11, the Emancipation Oak at entrance of Hampton University. Both things have been sent to Charlie. If you guys need information or like to send it out, he has it.
Very good. If you we'll share that out, and we need to get Poplar Hall some high-speed internet. The connection was not the best.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? I apologize for running 15 minutes over here. There were still some things we wanted to cover. We have the coffee coming up on October 3rd. Looking forward to being at breakfast again someday. You got any ideas for a speaker? I haven't booked one yet, so feel free to share it with me. And unless there's anything else, we're going to go ahead and get this adjourned. Is there anything else? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I move we adjourn.
All right. Thank you very much. And vote early.
Second.
It's easy and convenient. Vote early. Easy, convenient. All right. We'll be in touch. Thanks, everybody. All in favor, all opposed. Bye. See ya. I got another call. I'm not done yet. See ya.
Bye.
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 ESOmusicians.org.
Yes.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye.